so many people who are having gender identity crises need to understand that what you were born is critical to why you are here. Well, that's good news. I hear people say they believe that there is a mistake. The great I am never makes mistakes. If any mistake is ever made, it's on our part of misunderstanding the intentions of the great I am. But we can understand the intentions because God, or I like calling I am because I believe that's what the creative or the creator is, the I am. But because creator is more of a function and more than who the creator really is. But I'm not. That's something another lesson. But anyway, let's get back to the whole idea of name. Naming is important to you bringing forth purpose. So it's important to understand studying of names are critical, very, very important. So in purposeology, we study names. And that's what it's called, a nomenology. A nomenology is very, very important. Your name is critical. Your name carries purpose. But not only does your name carry purpose, but your gender carries purpose. People who have identity or sexual identity difficulties need to understand that your reason that you're born, the way that you are, is imperative to bringing forth your purpose. There's no accident. There's nothing accidental about you. And that's what we do in purposeology is to hold up the mirror to allow you to see the you that always was, so that you can begin to see that you're not an accident, that nothing about you is accidental, that you are magnificently and wonderfully created. There's nothing about you. Are awesome. You are magnificent. You are splendid. You are so incredible. You are totally awesome in everything about you. We think that Jesus was born differently than us. That's not possible. If Jesus was born differently than us without purpose, or he was born, it would be illegal. Everything that comes into the earth has to come legally, and it comes legally through being born. And when I say being born, I'm talking about being born of a womb. I'm talking about being born as far as humans. We have to be born in the earth. No one can be on this earth without being born into it. That's what's legal. And once you become born, you are coming with some incredible things. You come with your birth. You are born at a specific place and time. Now let's look at some other things. When we start talking about the whole idea of this particular verse in Matthew chapter 2, it says here that now Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king. Now that's important, because what here is being identified is another aspect of purposeology, and it's called sociology. Sociology is the study of social indicators. In the days of Herod, identifies what was going on from a governmental standpoint. If you look at King Herod, you'll find, and his regime, you'll find out what was going on from a governmental standpoint, a social standpoint, an economic standpoint. And that's going to even tell us further as we go along. But so what we need to understand is that when you were born, wherever you were born, that place, there was social or sociological indicators that need to be investigated, because it's in those sociological indicators that you'll begin to find indicators of why you've come. Because in the days of Herod, you will find that there were some issues. And it's those same issues that Jesus came to and was born into. But he came into those particular sociological, social indicators. He was born into them, but he came to solve one. You came and were born into the social indicators of your time and in your day and the exact time that you were born. And you got to understand this. You were born at a specific time. And in sociology, in purposeology, the study of time is what's called horology. You were born at a specific time. Many people don't know that time, But you can, if you know the time that you're born, in purposeology, there's a whole realm of other things that tells about purpose. You need to come to our studies. You need to come to our seminars to gain a better understanding of this particular study called purposeology. Is no joke. This study of purposeology will really tell you and show you your individual purpose. And I'm endeavoring to show you the indicators, the components of purposeology at the place that I found it. I found it through what we call the Bible. And I believe that this is not a religious document, but a source document for all mankind. So let's talk some more. Let's talk some more about this scripture, verse 1, where it says, and in the days of Herod the king. There's indicators that you were born in. There were indicators. There are indicators that show where you were born and what was going on. I talked to a lot of people and about this particular thing, the sociological indicators. And we talk about them. And I talked to many people that I've come across were born in the 60s. Now, from a social standpoint or perspective, in the 60s, what were some of the main sociological indicators that were prominent in the 60s? Well, it was the civil rights movement. And in the civil rights movement, there was this fight for fairness and for justice. And what I found is a lot of people that are born in the 60s have a strong sense of civil rights, strong sense of what's fair and just. And it's that same social indicator that seemed to sweep across, especially the early 60s, during the time of Dr. Martin Luther King, during the Kennedy brothers, during Malcolm X. All these ideas of fairness and justice were very prominent and indicative of the early 60s. And I say that to say that even in the days that you were born, whenever it is, you have to find, and at Purpose Quest International, we can help you find the sociological indicators that's prominent in the day that you were born. Yeah, we can help you with that. It's important to understand because it gives you a better understanding of where you were born. And it allows you to outline some parameters and boundaries in your life. Because some things that we do are good, but not right. So if we can establish boundaries in our lives, we can better understand that there's some things that are good that we need not get involved because it's not in our area. It's in someone else's area that what may be good for us, but is right for someone else. So it becomes imperative to do what's right as opposed to what's good. Because good is beneficial, but not always right. But right is always legal and always good. So to be good, to do things that's good is not always right or even legal. I know people that say, well, you know, I deal drugs because I want to feed my family and take care of those people, and so everybody can eat. And so we do this to help people. That may to them be a good or beneficial idea. But it's not the right idea because right is legal and dealing drugs is illegal, so it cannot be purpose. Purpose is always legal. So, but that gets into some other ideas relative to the perspectives of what purposeology is. But let's go on, and I've been talking to you for almost 25 minutes, and we've talked about several ideas of purposeology, and we've only looked at one verse in this particular verse of scripture, and we're not even finished this verse, because the next few words are indicative of another component of purposeology. So let's back up and read again. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Wow. Now that's very, very important, because what it says here is that there came to Jerusalem. I'm getting ready to upset some things here, but understand the things that I'm not trying to cause any problems. My whole idea is to relate what I believe is very critical to people finding their individual purpose. Now, there's several things that we need to identify here. One is this. it says that there came wise men. Now it says they were wise. Now, wise men literally means in the Greek, it means magi. And magi, really it was a term that was given by the Babylonians or the Chaldeans, the Medes, the name just slips my mind. But there were others that saw this group, this magi, as wise men. Anyone that was a magi was a wise man. He was a teacher, a priest, a physician, an astrologer. They were seers. They were interpreters of dreams. They were sorcerers and soothsayers. These magi or wise men, we can liken them to the title of doctor that we give in today's colloquial expression, a doctor. There's many doctors in different disciplines, in different areas, but yet they were given the idea of being wise men, magi. Even today, we look at a doctor as being a wise man or an educated person in a specific discipline. So here we see that there was this magi, these wise men that came to Bethlehem of Judea. And it's incredible to find out some things about this magi. Now, one thing that we see here in the narrative of the Bible is that we don't see their names. But historically, there are documents that do outline the names of this magi, these men that came. And the names, we already talked about it, a nomenology is important to purpose. And not only to purpose, it is indicators of what the individual Jesus's purpose is as well. So here's the names of the magi. Now, and what else is really amazing about this is that this magi, they are three names: Gaspar, Melchior, and Belteshazzar. These are the three magi that have been identified in historical documents as being the names of the wise men or the magi. Now, there's several things that are here. We already outlined the importance of numerology. But there's another science that we're going to introduce here, and it's called numerology. Numerology. Now, even though it's not said in the biblical text, the number of the magi, history tells us that there were three of them. And in numerology, in purposeology, 3 is a very important number because 3 represents witness. Anytime you see the number 3, it represents witness, fullness, and completion. So here's the idea that completeness and witnesses came to Jerusalem. And I'm going to say this: there are witnesses that came that were present at every one of our births. There were magi. There were representatives. There was fullness. There were witnesses present at each one of our births. Now let's look at this. And there was a completeness there where you were born. You were born at the exact place that you were supposed to be born. There is no accident about you. That place, that hospital, that wherever that was, that state, that city, that time, nothing about you is an accident. That's why purposeology is so important. But let's look at this again. The names of the 3 men or the 3 magi that came that were witnesses at the birth of Christ. Well, actually, they really weren't witnesses at the birth of Christ. They came to Jesus, and well, we'll talk about it later. But anyway, we have been given this manger scene, which is really it's a fallacy and it's a farce, because it didn't happen nor look that way. Because first of all, the magi were not there at the manger scene. I hate to upset your religiosity, but they were not there. And we're going to show you why they weren't. That's okay. So in history, these 3 men, Gaspar, Melchior, and Belteshazzar, their names are important because of their names bring with them purpose. And with their purpose sows into